back again to talk some college football. We are waist deep
into the pigskin.
Into the pigskin right now. We have already went through 5 weeks. Going to kick into week 6 this week. What we do, we cover the top 15 ranked teams in the league and the games they play every week. We will recap first, though.
Our top 15.
Our top 15 for week 5. We'll recap the games that happened in week 5.
One important note: Tennessee was idle this week. They did not play.
Tennessee was idle this week. They won't play until next week, so they maintain their 8th ranking this week. So we won't brag about them too much, even though they are top 10 in the country. But anyways, we'll talk. We will recap the games at week 5. We'll throw in a dumpster fire in the middle of that. We got an odd dumpster fire this week, but we got to talk about it. And then we'll jump into our predictions for week 6. Let's go ahead and jump into our week 5. We actually had a top 15 game on Friday, which is unusual.
The up-and-coming Washington Huskies slipped up against Chip Kelly's UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, this will be the only week we talk about Washington because they won't be in the top 15 next week. They lost to the Bruins 40-32.
Maybe those chips have some flavor after all.
Yeah, man. Every now and then you get a good Chip Kelly. Every now and then you get a cookie with no chips at all in it. This one had some pretty good chips in it, yeah. Saturday's games, we had Michigan at Iowa.
Iowa's offense still sucks,
but their defense
is pretty good.
Michigan still won by 13. That's what they were supposed to do. So.
And Jim Harbaugh, bigger game Jim.
They look pretty good this year.
They're having a Big Ten winning streak.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting when they get later and they get into those really juicy games. One of the games of the week, we had number 7 Kentucky at number 14 Ole Miss.
Do you remind yourself one time when some person decided to unload their shotgun on their foot?
Kentucky was the better team.
All day.
Turned over the ball last
3 consecutive drives, 3 straight turnovers.
And then scored a touchdown to win the game, but had illegal shift.
So many shoot yourself in the foot moments.
And the very next play after the illegal shift,
they get fumbled,
turnover, sack fumble, and you lose the game.
Ole Miss took advantage of those opportunities.
Hey, yeah, you got to give credit to Ole Miss for taking advantage.
The lane train is going on.
Kentucky was the better team, but Ole Miss found out a way to win. Kentucky found
a way to lose.
Yeah, found out a way to lose.
And now Ole Miss is the beneficiary.
Yep.
The lane train is moving.
Yeah, Ole Miss has jumped up into the
top 10.
Top 10 now.
Just behind Tennessee at number 9.
It's going to be interesting to see throughout the year how that plays out because they still got to play Mississippi State and Alabama and LSU and Texas A&M. So Ole Miss hasn't proved themselves yet, but
that was the first step.
That was the first step of it. Yeah, we had Oregon State at number 12 Utah.
Utah wiped the floor.
Utah's maybe not that bad of a team. I was thinking, maybe Florida ain't that bad of a team.
Well,
because Florida, Florida's not in the top 15, but they beat the doors off of they scored after losing to Tennessee. They scored 55 and beat the doors off it. Maybe Florida's not that bad.
It's just they faced better teams.
They had 3 of the teams they played were top 10 teams.
That's a tough schedule, I would admit. That's the SEC, though.
I'm thinking Utah's pretty good, actually, and Florida's probably pretty dang good, too. Florida may end up in the top 20 at the end of the year.
Possibly.
But Utah beat the doors off of Oregon State 42-16. We had number 2 Alabama at number 20 Arkansas.
That final score is pretty indicative of how the game went, but Bryce Young's shoulder is a concern.
Yeah, 49-26. They say that he's going to be okay to play, but he got a pretty good hit and his shoulder was pretty good. But Alabama's backup quarterback came in, and he's almost the opposite of Bryce Young. He's a running quarterback. He's like a 75% runner, 25% passer, where Bryce Young's a 75% passer, 25% runner. And Arkansas's defense went, what? Zoom! As he ran by them. Just zoom! What was that? Zoom! And,
they couldn't game plan.
They couldn't do anything with him. They had zero game plan for a running quarterback.
Jalen Milroe.
He ran on him just like it was against high schoolers. I almost felt sorry for Arkansas because Tennessee's done that a time or two, been beating a team, and then the backup quarterback comes in and just destroys you. Because Arkansas was keeping it close.
until that
and man, he just
ran all over.
ran all over him. We had Rutgers at Ohio State, 49-10. We figured that was going to happen.
Ohio State scored a lot of points. No surprise.
No surprise.
Rutgers crapped the bed. No surprise. But Ryan Day and Greg Schiano had a little bit of a screw scuffle.
Yes. Greg Schiano
decided to pick a fight with the head coach of Ohio State for no reason other than, hey, my team sucks.
Hey, I got beat by 39. Oh, yeah. I'm so glad Tennessee didn't get him.
We don't get a coach that yells at the others.
All of those media people out there, you should take Schiano. You really to the six. Yeah, where would we be right now? We'd be looking for another coach. Was where we would be. Oklahoma State, number 9 at number 16. Bader, Okie State.
Okie pokey.
Yeah.
Turn yourself around. That's what it's all about,
Yeah,
Dad.
36-25. Beat them pretty handily, really. So Oklahoma State's actually got a pretty good team this year. Northwestern at Penn State. Penn State only beat them by 10.
And it was draining rain all day.
So, yeah, that sort of explains it.
Penn State had 5 fumbles.
Ooh.
5 fumbles.
Ooh.
Big game, James.
Big game, James. And then we have number 1 Georgia at Missouri. They should have lost that game.
They should have lost because they looked underwhelming for most of the game.
Missouri's probably one of the worst 3 teams in the SEC. Really, they are.
They lost.
Vanderbilt, of course, is the worst. But Missouri.
They lost to Brian Harsin in Auburn, who's a sitting duck.
Yeah, really, I don't know if Georgia hadn't looked good the last 2. I don't know if they're looking past their opponents or just kicking back in a chair, sleepwalking while they're trying to play these people or something.
It's like
they almost lost that game.
They pulled talent out of their butt to win.
That's the only way they got it there at the end. We had NC State at Clemson.
Clemson was at home, and that was a key contributor to this game. And DJ looked like a decent quarterback.
Yeah, he's actually getting better as the season goes on. So,
and the defense for Clemson really held them to 13 despite a garbage touchdown.
Clemson still looks like the best team in the ACC. You know,
all they had to do was switch some coaches around.
Other teams were trying to come up a little bit, but
Clemson's still the top cat.
Yeah, we had AZ State at USC. USC 42-25 won that one pretty.
Arizona State's program's a disaster, and USC is coming up.
Yeah, and then lastly, but not leastly, we had Stanford at Oregon, and Stanford's horrible this year. They wish they had luck back. They're trying to win something.
Oh, Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks with Dan Lanning.
Yep, Bo Nix is doing pretty good. He's he's
done better than he had at Auburn.
Yeah, a lot of people do. With the current coaching situation, but that is it for the top 15 for week 5. Now we will talk about our
dumpster fire of the week.
Dumpster fire. This one's a little weird. It's the most interesting one. We haven't seen this in a while, so check it out.
Dumpster fire of the week.
Yeah. And our dumpster fire is
being a coach.
It's odd. It's a bunch of the NCAA coaches. This week, we'll start with Colorado.
Colorado has been a freaking disaster.
Well, they're 0-25 or something. They're 0 they're really bad. Really
smelly bad.
So what they do? Fired the
head coach, be gone, and the defensive coordinator, be gone.
So they fired the head coach and the defensive coordinator. So he's out.
But that's just the beginning.
The reason we're saying this, we're only 5 games in,
and there's 5 coaches booted out.
And there's 5 coaches been fired so far. We got the first one was
Scott Frost.
Scott Frost. He should have been fired 2 years ago. I mean, he was
terrible.
He was a skeleton walking at that point. He was dead 2 years ago, and they just finally realized, he's dead. So, and then we had who do we have second?
I think
Georgia Tech. Was it Georgia Tech?
Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. They fired their head coach, and then we had Wisconsin.
Paul Chryst, who had done well previously.
He had done pretty good. So, but he's gone.
And the fourth one, Carl Dorrell.
Who did he coach for?
Colorado.
Oh yeah, Colorado. We've had 5 coaches.
We didn't name all of them, but that's just an example.
Yeah, there's just some. It's normally Normally, you don't have that. Normally, you don't fire your coaches until the end of the season.
I guess that they felt it was, unless you felt it was so rotten that you had to get it out of there.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a firing frenzy. It is it is. But honestly, there's probably one going to happen this week. Whatever Auburn loses to Georgia by 40 this week,
Out goes Harsin.
out goes also. That's what it's fire. You get fired, and you get fired, and you get fired. Everybody's fired. We just fire everybody. I mean, I haven't seen this in college football
In a long time.
in a long, long time. There's going to be 10 or 15 empty coaches spots halfway through the year. It's bad. It's bad. I just haven't seen it like that before.
Do you know what makes this even more comical and
What?
more amusing?
What?
Kansas is in the top 25 this week, and all the other, and they're probably looking at everybody else that was firing their coaches and laughing at them now.
Yeah, Kansas is in the. This is not basketball. Kansas is in the top 25. Again, I'm thinking it's maybe fool's gold. I mean, it's a great story. Woo! But
At least they can say they made it there.
hey, Kansas. Well, it's sort of like Duke made it into the top 25 a couple of years ago with Cutcliffe.
It's rare.
And that was a cool thing for them. And even Northwestern about 3 or 4 years ago was pretty good in that bit. I mean, it's a good story, but they're a basketball program. I don't know if they'll ever
It's
be.
a pretty
consistently
good story, but I feel like it could be short-lived. from the
Yeah,
schedule.
well, they might end up this year inside the top 25
If they pull out some wins.
if they possibly. But they do have some tough schedule. They've got a tough game this week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's jump into our matchups for week 6. We'll go ahead and jump into the game of the week. At least for us, it is.
At the 12 o'clock,
At the noon spot, baby. Number
Tennessee
8,
travels
Tennessee
to
at
Baton Rouge
number 25, a top 25 matchup
against LSU.
against LSU. Tennessee is favored by 3. This is going to be a dangerous game. It's hard to
It's hard to
play.
win there.
It's hard to win in Death Valley. But I am going to take Tennessee -3.
You think they definitely have enough offense?
Um,
If you're talking about offense, they have plenty.
I think the same thing with Florida last week. I think that they've got the offense to stick with them.
And they
I think
can't punt.
I think that LSU and Florida are really, really similar teams. I do think they are. I don't
you
think
think
LSU. I think they're going to score 38-45 on LSU, and I just don't think LSU. They're
Catch up.
passing. I don't think
They can catch up.
they can catch up with that. So.
But
Plus, LSU is at home, coming off of a win that they didn't look great at. So I'm going to go with Tennessee.
I just want Tim Banks to graduate from the Joe Woods School of Secondary Play, though.
Mhm.
They didn't really look good in the secondary last week, and I just want them to improve.
Yeah, I'm going maybe 35-27 Tennessee. I think Tennessee by 8.
All right, cool.
That sounds good. We got Michigan at Indiana. Michigan's favored by 22.5. Indiana, not terrible, but Michigan's been pretty good. So honestly, probably going to take Michigan.
Let's go take Michigan plus that line.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that game, even though it's not in the top 25, because where are we going to talk about a number 17 TCU and number 19 Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas may not be in the top 25 much, so let's go ahead and talk about them a little bit. TCU is at Kansas. TCU is favored by 7. Honestly, I think TCU is going to win it.
They whipped the floor with a pathetic Oklahoma defense. That was a contender for that dumpster fire.
If TCU, Oklahoma was a contender for the dumpster fire. Colorado was a definite contender for the dumpster fire. We could have had those two teams as dumpster fires, but there were so many coaches fired, we had to mention all of them. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. TCU hammered Oklahoma. I mean, hammered them. Like 55 points on them.
Jeez.
So
They had the second highest rated offense in the country.
yeah, so I'm thinking at
I
4-0.
would have picked the Frogs.
Oh, yeah, -7.
Isn't this their signal that they do?
Oh yeah, home frogs, baby. We got Auburn at number 2, Georgia. That's right, Georgia dropped out of the top spot because they hadn't really looked that good lately. Auburn at Georgia. They will beat the living crap out of Auburn.
Hey, that's good theater. If you want to see it on Comedy Central, go ahead.
Yes, that will be. Yeah, turn on Comedy Central. If you're in for a good laugh, and you wait, the coach for Auburn won't get off the field. He'll be fired before he gets to the bus. They'll fire him at the 10-yard line before he gets off the field. They'll carry papers out. There'll be somebody carry papers out from the end zone and fire him at the 10-yard line. It's sad to say, but that's Georgia's by 30. They're gonna be. We got Texas Tech at Oklahoma State.
That
Texas
should be an Okie State win.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's favored by 9.5. I think they win that by 10 or more. We got number 11 Utah. They have jumped up one at number 18 UCLA coming in unranked.
Coming in ranked at number 18.
Number 18 now. That is my interesting game of the week. Utah has been fantastic, but so has UCLA. UCLA's just not been ranked. Utah's on UT, and it's at UCLA. Utah's favored by 3.5. I don't know what to say in this one. I really don't. Who do you think might get that one?
I don't know if I'm going to kick myself for this, but I'm going to put my bag on the Bruins.
Yeah, they have looked really good, and they're at home. And they're catching 3.5 points. So we'll say UCLA plus 3.5. We got Ohio State at Michigan State.
Michigan State's secondary is trash.
Really, and Ohio State's quarterback is one of the best 2 or 3 in the country. So
if you want to have some,
beat the crap out of them.
You want to see some passing highlights? That would be the game to watch.
That would be the game to watch. Yeah, that's a 30-point game too. We got number 9 Ole Miss. That's right, Ole Miss. We mentioned had jumped up to number 9 at Vanderbilt.
Ole Miss plays Vanderbilt every year, and Ole Miss kills Vanderbilt every year.
Yeah, Ole Miss is favored by 17.
I'm gonna take the Rebels.
Yeah,
and run with it.
Yeah, we got number 5 Clemson. They did not move at Boston College. Boston College is bad. That's
Clemson is good.
That's probably a 24-point game.
That should be a smart bet to go on Clemson.
Yeah, Washington State at USC. USC is still number 6. USC is favored by
not many people
13.
budging.
Washington State's not a bad team.
They beat Wisconsin, even though Wisconsin had a lame duck coach.
Yeah, but I don't know. USC's favored by 13, but they're at home. I'd probably take USC minus 13. We got South Carolina at Kentucky. Kentucky should have a bounce back game here.
Spencer Rattler has the worst QBR of any quarterback in the SEC, or one of the lowest quarterback ratings in the whole country.
You know what? Let's look at the Big 12. They have the most powerful offenses in the country, to score 40, 50 points a game. Let's see, this team right here had a quarterback that wasn't good and they fired him. How about we take him? If you can't be a good quarterback in the Big 12, how do you expect to come over to the SEC and be a good quarterback?
Let me tell you one thing.
What were they thinking?
They played South Carolina State, and Spencer Rattler threw 2 picks.
Against SC State, yeah.
South Carolina State, not Clemson.
SC State, yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, Kentucky minus 10. I'm going to
take the Wildcats.
Yeah, we got Army. I like me some Army. At Wake Forest, Army's not very good this year, though. Wake Forest is favored by 17.
Salute to the troops who serve our country, and Army is always a favorite team of mine.
Yeah, I'll take Wake.
So. But I will appreciate seeing Army on this list anytime.
Yep. We got Texas A&M at Alabama. Alabama is favored by 24. A&M is going to lose again.
Jimbo Fisher is the epitome of fool's gold.
Yes, Texas A&M is going to end up 3.
They're going to eat some gump.
It'll be 500.
They're going to eat some gump.
They'll eat some gump. We got Florida State at NC State.
Coming off a loss to Clemson, I don't think they'll show Florida State any mercy.
No, I think NC State will win by 10 plus points. We got Oregon at Arizona.
I don't think Oregon
13.
will show Arizona any mercy because they've been a terrible program, Arizona, for a few years.
Yeah, I think Oregon wins by 14 plus points in that one too. And that is our college football for week 6. Man, we're already in week 6.
Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave some comments down there, share us with your friends.
Groovy baby button.
Hit the groovy baby button over somewhere. And we'll see you next week for some more college football.
See you next week.